Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a thrift haul. I haven't shared a thrift haul in a really long time actually, but I do have a playlist on my channel with some other videos like this. If you enjoy this one, go and check it out. I'll link that in the description box. So if you finish this video and you want to see more cool thrift finds, make sure you check out that playlist. I have a bunch of stuff here laid out on my desk. Stuff that I've thrifted really recently. There's also a few things that I picked up a little while ago which I thought I would include in this video. I've just kind of gone around my room and picked up things that I know that I've found in like the last few months. So with my thrift hauls, as always, I show you the finds that I collect for making things. So making journals and other paper crafts. And then I also have some things here that are like organization. So things that I use in my craft room or in my studio to help me organize my supplies. And yeah, hopefully this just helps to share some ideas for the sorts of things that you can keep your eyes out for whenever you go op shopping or thrifting. I'm going to start with this organizer. So this organizer I found at the tip shop. I actually found two of them exactly the same. So I'm only showing you one of them, but I have two. These are really cool for like A4 sized documents. And the organizers inside actually can be taken out so you can make the sections thicker. There's just 3 dividers in each one, and it has this tiered look so you can kind of see what you've got inside. And yeah, so I got 2 of those. I scooped those right up. I think they cost me hardly anything at the tip shop, and I'm using one of these to hold just my tax documents. And so far I've just been using the other one to hold these thrifted books that I found, just because I love the way that these look. So I'll show you those soon. But if you have any good ideas for anything I could put in here, obviously in a craft room there's a million different things you could put in here. So I was super happy when I found those. Along the same lines, I've also found this little box in another tip shop, and this was actually a couple of months ago. So I've already filled this up with some little scraps of fabric. I've just put these tiny little fabric squares in here. These fabric squares were actually a thrift find as well. I think this box may be like a vintage pharmacy box, but I'm not 100% sure. It's got this cool like angled lid to it. The back of this says something woodlines. I've also got 2 more trays that I found also at the tip shop. So this one, I was really excited when I found this old tray. I think this used to have maybe a lid to it, but I just found it this way. It says the Regal lock clip file. That's all the info on the side of it. And it just has this really great pattern, which I was able to scan in as well. Again, I'm actually just using this tray to catch my receipts, and I just like that it's pretty to look at. Another tray that I picked up recently is this one. Again, this is like an A4 organizer, and I really love this. I already have one of these that I got from my nana's house, and this is pretty much the exact same. And I'm just using this one to organize like my on-the-go projects at the moment. But again, you can fit all sorts of things in these types of trays. I always grab these whenever I see them because they are kind of hard to find, but they're super usable, and I just love the way that they look. Now let's get into some of the crafty finds that I found lately. So this little stamp set I also found at the tip shop. So this is an alphabet stamp set, and I'm aware this is possibly like an AliExpress or like a Temu purchase maybe, I don't know. It could be an older set. It's probably just a cheap set from one of those types of shops. I don't shop on AliExpress or Temu. If you recognize this particular stamp set and you know where it came from, I'd be really interested to know though. It was within a bag of random stuff. More tip finds. I found a whole stack of old Western Horseman magazines. I found all of these magazines at the tip. It's literally a huge stack, and these just have really cool graphics. They have really cool typography, and I managed to get a whole stack of them, again for hardly anything. The tip shop's a really great place to go because you're literally saving things from landfill. I feel like as well, a lot of the op shops that I go to these days, they can be very, very overpriced. Things are getting really, really expensive, but the tip shops, the prices tend to be really reasonable and still quite cheap, because I think the intention behind selling stuff at the tip shop is a bit different to those charity shops these days, most of them in general. So that's a bit of a general statement. I also found these horsey magazines. This magazine's called Hoofs and Horns, and I think this one is or was an Australian publication. So I just thought that these were really fun. They have some really interesting old graphics and things that you can cut out and use for crafts. On the topic of books, I also found a stack of beautiful painting books. These were from an op shop. So I found these in a different shop on a different day. These books are seriously so cool. They have the most amazing graphics and beautiful typography and beautiful paintings and instructionals in here. They're actually so good that I don't know if I will cut into these whatsoever. They're so good. Some of these paintings I am probably going to frame as well because I just love them so much. I love vintage boat paintings. I don't know why, I always have. But I also picked up some of these that are flower painting instructions. Like, look at that. This old color chart. Some of these are in rough shape, but they're really nice, huge books, and the paper is really matte and nice and thick as well. There's some really great step-by-step instructions and tips and things that you can learn from here, as well as such beautiful art prints. I'll probably just read them and enjoy them the way that they are because they're just so beautiful. Like I said, I've had these particular books sitting in the organizer so that I can actually just look at them. In the studio, I just think the graphics are amazing. I'm pretty sure each of these books cost me $1 each. So there's those books. I did find a couple of other books at the tip shop. So the same place I found the horsing magazines, I also picked up this old map book. So these all fold out. And again, this is in kind of not the best shape, but there's lots of really lovely maps in here. Matte paper is always a really great paper to repurpose into junk journals. And again, if you're getting it from the tip shop, you're saving it from landfill, so don't feel bad about using it. I also picked up this book. What caught my eye about this book was the cover. This book's called Our Family History, and it's got this like cloth cover, and then the inside pages have all of these different like prompts, things you can fill out. It is partially filled out, and I'm going to just repurpose some of those pages within junk journals. And then eventually this could be a cover that gets altered as well. The other book that I picked up at the tip shop was this children's book. It's God is Good, and again, the beautiful illustrations in this book just caught my eye. Like, look how sweet the little bunny is. It doesn't have a lot of pages in it, but it does have nice big pages, and it just has really, really sweet illustrations. Maybe a tiny bit of water damage to it, but I just thought that was too cute not to grab. When I picked up these paint books, I also found this whole entire roll of wallpaper. So this is unopened, and it's got this really pretty embossed floral design. So an entire roll, and this was only $5. Another thing that I picked up at the tip shop was these little cards, but obviously for junk journaling these are great. Nice little ephemera bits, and they were just loose. They weren't, I don't think it's a whole set, or if it was, they weren't in any packaging. So of course I grabbed those, and I don't think they cost me much at all either. For fabrics, I've picked up a few different fabrics recently. These were the ones that I could kind of see that I know were very recent. So this one was just in the last few days. This beautiful floral fabric. And actually this came at such good timing because I wanted to put a pin board up, or a bulletin board up, in my studio, and kind of a custom sized bulletin board, so I wanted to cover it in fabric, and this ended up being the perfect fabric to do that. So if you want to see my new pin board, make sure you stick around until the end of this video and I will show you what I'm doing and where I have it set up in my room. I'm not sure what the origin of this fabric is, but it kind of reminds me of like a Liberty print, but it's just really, really beautiful. And then I also picked up 2 vintage flat sheets in this beautiful little like rosebud print. I have washed these and they're a little bit creased up, but I've made some little bags with these already for my most recent journals. This fabric was just so pretty and simple with these dainty little rosebuds. It does have a few stains on it even after washing it, which I think is why it was only like $3 for both flat sheets. So I got those, and then I've also picked up just a plain roll of like a white canvasy fabric. So a nice base fabric for sewing fabric journals. And then other than that, I've just picked up some little bits of lace trims. There's this tiny little op shop near me where I live, and they have these huge tubs full of extremely well organized lace. So I really appreciate the volunteers in that shop. They measure every single roll of lace. They write out how long it is, they put the price on it, and it's all on its own individual spool. And then not only that, but they put a sample sticking out of the plastic so you can actually check it and see if it's what you want. I spent a day recently just going through them and picking out some of my favorites. So like this pretty little blue one there, and this pretty pink one. This is like a bit of a satiny eyelet lace, eyelet trim. I picked this one up for its green color, and then there's just a couple of other ones here. I think I've already used this one, that's why it's out of the packet. And this little beige one as well. A few weeks ago at a different op shop, I also picked up a bag of lace, and it was just bunched together like this. As you can see, the bag says $3. I've already been using these as well, but there's different spools of lace, different types of lace, different colors, different widths as well. So again, just something that comes in handy, especially if you like making junk journals or making fabric junk journals. And then the last few things that I'm going to show you, I picked up this telephone message book, and it just looks like this inside. So just pages and pages of the little telephone message spots, which you can tear out, and they actually are perforated so they can be that individual little message. Again, perfect for junk journals, a nice little bit of ephemera to include in junk journals, and it was $1. And then the last 2 things I'm going to show you aren't technically craft related. They are ceramics. So if you have seen my craft room or my craft room tour, you know that I like little trinkets and little ceramic knickknacks, and I really like swans. I've got a couple of swans in my studio, and when I saw this one, I wanted to have it. You can use these to hold like pencils and pens and plants and whatever else you want to put in here, but I just thought this was so pretty. It goes well with my little swan collection, and it cost me $4. And then this one is just so random, but I'm going to show you because it's so cute. It is this little trinket box with 3 little ceramic cats on the top. This also cost me $4, the same shop. But I just thought, at first I was like, I don't know. And then the more I looked at it, I was like, that's actually really cute. So it just pops open. I don't know what you would put in here. I kind of feel like it's giving like Tooth Fairy box vibes, but I just thought it was too cute to pass up. I have 3 little cats, so I felt like it was fitting. So at the moment, this is sitting in my studio on my shelf, but I don't know. I may move it to like my daughter's room or something like that. What would you put inside here? You could definitely fit some rings or some jewelry or whatever, but I just thought that was so cute. So this is my little thrift haul. I think op shopping and thrifting is one of the best places that you can look for making journals and doing crafts. It's a really great way to actually repurpose things, a lot of things that would otherwise end up in landfill. It's also a really fun way to find supplies because you never really know what you're going to find, and it's a really great way to actually get your hands on some vintage supplies as well. So I definitely recommend checking out your local thrift shops. Let me know what was your favorite thing in this video that I found at the thrift store. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you leave a little thumbs up and also let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today, and I'll see you again soon in my next video. Bye!